Welcome. I'm Lexley Overton, and for over 20 years, I've been a trial lawyer in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in a very heavy civil litigation practice. So that means I've been in the war, I've been in the battle, I've been trying to win the war. And what I know is, as lawyers, the most valuable weapon that we have in what we do is our minds. In fact, in law school, we were taught to use our minds in a way that we had never done before. Right? We were taught to be able to analyze any set of facts and create an argument, and to be able to predict what the next move was going to be and what the next action that needed to be taken, the next step, to be able to win the battle, right? Unfortunately, always being on with our minds and the adversarial culture of the practice, being in competition and conflict on a daily basis, is taking a really huge toll on us emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. In fact, one recent study done by Johns Hopkins shows that out of 105 professions, that lawyers are the most likely to be depressed. We have all sat in on a CLE talking about the struggles that lawyers have with higher addiction rates to drugs and alcohol. And for me, that's what happened as far as my response to stress. There was not a response of depression, but a response that took a toll on me physically. I found myself about 5 years into my practice. I was very lucky to be thrown from law school directly into the courtroom. I practiced with my parents, and my dad thought there was no better way to learn than to be on your feet. And he was exactly right, and it was a wonderful experience for me. And I had many jury trials under my belt at a young age. But 5 years into the practice, what I didn't realize is that the daily stress was really taking a toll on me. I'll never forget the day, because you don't forget something like that happens. I had been in the northern part of the state in a motion hearing and had about a 2-hour drive back to Baton Rouge. When I got to the city, I swung by the daycare and picked up my 2-year-old daughter at the time and returned home with her, parking under the carport area that I had at the home there. And I remember clearly getting out and opening the back door and reaching in and unbuckling her from her car seat and lifting her out and placing her on my right hip, and then reaching in with my left hand to grab the briefcase and turning around to unlock the door, when a pain like nothing I had ever felt before clamped down in my chest. And it literally took my breath away, but my mind was racing that I didn't want to drop my daughter. And I remember looking at her, because she was understanding that there was something that was wrong, and saying, it's okay, and trying to get her down to the ground, to the concrete, without dropping her. It was a wake-up call. They did think I was having a heart attack, but I wasn't. And after a series of tests, the solution was that I needed some type of prescription drug to help me with stress and anxiety. And I just didn't want to take that route. It set me on a different path. I wanted to understand how I could be powerful in what I was doing and not just be merely surviving. I wanted to thrive. So it set me on a path of over 15 years of studying everything from behavioral psychology and why we act the way that we do, to looking at some of the latest research in neuroscience about the mind-body connection, to studying the ancient wisdom of Eastern medicine. And taking all of those modalities together and starting to create some tools and techniques that we could use, that I personally could use and now use with working with lawyers, to really understand the power of the mind and how to use the mind in a different way. Because what's happening to us today is that stress is our modern day predator. It's killing us, but it's not just physically killing us, it's emotionally and mentally slowly depleting us. And the body can't help it because the response to a predator, used to be a saber-toothed tiger, is literally an involuntary response of fight or flight. So the body takes blood and shuts down different systems to be ready. Like, I'm either going to run or I'm going to fight. And so what happens to the brain in that situation is that all of the energy is taken from the parts of the brain that would have to do with problem solving and analyzing, all the parts of the brain that we really need to use as lawyers, and literally shunning all that energy to the different parts of the brain to survive. So we're not using our minds in the way that we really could be, because our bodies are having this involuntary response to the modern day predator of stress. So everything that I'm doing now is about how do we stop that involuntary response? How do we rewire the brain? How do we train the body to be able to have its full use, to be power performers? And the first secret is learning how to train the mind, to retrain the mind. And the answer isn't drugs. That actually, even if it's prescription medication, they all have effect on us that really limits the full capacity of our minds and our bodies to be really able to be powerful in the battle that we're in this culture. So the first simple answer, and it's an ancient practice that is being proven by modern day science, is the practice of meditation. So what is that? It is literally an ancient method of training the mind. And neuroscience is now proving that meditation actually not only trains the mind, but it literally affects the physical structure. So 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation has been proven to literally change the gray matter in the brain. It's incredible the effects of a simple practice can have on our minds to be way more powerful than the ways that we've been trained to use it. The number one response that I receive, especially from lawyers when I talk about meditation, is, I can't do it. I have too busy of a mind. That's because our minds were trained that way, right? I can't slow down the thoughts. And I just want to take that myth off the table, because you're not meant to stop thinking when you meditate. It's the job of your brain to think, of your mind to think. It's an involuntary response. So it's just the same as if you went to sit down to meditate and you wanted to tell your heart to quit beating. That's an involuntary response. You're not going to be able to tell your mind not to think. And so most people give up really quickly because they believe that. So that's a myth, and we're going to take that off the table. The trick is to know some tools and techniques to help you release thought, so that you can find the spaces in meditation that are actually very nourishing and nurturing to the body and to the mind, and helping it to recharge. We're going to try this. It only takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I'm asking for you. You can do it right there, sitting at your desk, sitting anywhere comfortable that you want to. And you just want to be in a place where your spine can be relatively straight and that you're not uncomfortable in sitting. And you want to just take your hands and place them palm down on your legs. And I invite you to close your eyes. And then just take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And on the out breath, just allowing on the next out breath, just to feel like a settling of the body, just a release there. And in this meditation practice, we're just going to be a witness to all that is present here in the moment. Just for these 5 minutes, this is all that we have to do. We're just going to observe and be a witness. And you can begin just by following your breath as it enters your body and as it exits the body. Just follow the breath. Nothing else to do, and not all at this moment, but just to follow the breath in and out. Does your chest rise? Does your abdomen fill with air? Just notice for a few moments. The breath is always with us, just following it in and out. If you have a thought, that's completely okay. It's just a signal to bring your awareness back to your breath going in and out. Now, with your eyes closed, we're just going to really expand our awareness of what is here in the moment, being a witness. So on the next in-breath, I ask you to bring your awareness to the sense of touch. What is touching your body, and where is your body touching something else in this moment? Your feet, your back, how you're seated in the chair. What's the heaviest touch, and what's the slightest? What's the lightest? And now on the next in-breath, bringing your awareness to the sense of hearing. What is the sounds other than my voice that you hear? The loudest, the far away, the softest. And on the next in-breath, take a deep in-breath and bring your attention to the awareness of smell. What are the fragrances that are surrounding you? The strongest and the lightest, the faintest. And then on the next in-breath, bringing your awareness to the sense of taste. What's the taste that you have in your mouth at this moment? And on the next in-breath, bringing your awareness to the sense of sight. Your eyes closed, what is it that you see? Light coming through your eyelids? Is there a picture in your mind's eye? Bright, faint. And now I invite you to bring your awareness back to your breath, just following it in and out. How it enters the body and exits. Now we can take a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You just spent a few minutes in a mindfulness meditation practice. So this is the practice that science is proving that you do just for a few minutes for 8 weeks literally changes the gray matter and the physical structure of your brain, making you more powerful. But it's just the beginning. Meditation is really just the basic building block for many different techniques that you can use to be able to manage your energy, to understand how to use your mind to be purposeful, to find and reignite a passion for what you do, and to even create abundance in all of the areas of your life. So this is what Mind Over Law is all about being a powerful performer as a lawyer, but finding peace and purpose and prosperity. So I invite you to come join us if you want to know more at mindoverlaw.com.